Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, my friends. Happy Tuesday. We are Oh goodness. I'm choking on myself this morning. This is a really great start. It's Tuesday. It is coffee chat day. I literally sat in my seat like 40 seconds ago after getting my refill. And yeah, but I'm feeling good. Feeling good this morning. You guys. My husband went to work today. My husband went to the office today. And so, like, I'm here. The door to the office is open. I'm not trying to, like, be quiet or anything. And it feels really good. So, actually, let me know if I'm. If I'm too loud because I'm using the pretty microphone, which picks things up. But I'm projecting today. I'm projecting. So how are you? Good morning. Oh, I'm trying to remember to use all of these fun little features. There we go. I decided to get StreamYard again because I have been live streaming so frequently, and so I wanna make sure that I'm like using the tools to make the best live streams that I can. Good morning, Lindsay. It is good to see an empty house. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's very exciting. Not that I don't love my husband to pieces, but he literally doesn't leave. And when you are the homemaker, you kind of want your own turf, especially since the first, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years of our marriage, however long it's been. I'm so used to him being gone that the last 2 years of him not leaving, I'm like, I just want my space back, you know? I just want my space back. Good morning, Paulette. How are you today? So there's a lot happening today. I am planning on vlogging today, which is great because I don't have to like worry about dodging office calls or doing anything of that nature. And it's just going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day. So I would love to know, what do you guys want to discuss over coffee this morning? A couple of options I have. I do have my devotions from the 40 days. What's it called? 40 days with Jesus. I have my weekly goals, or at least some of them. As you can tell, there's some stuff that's not actually filled out. But I couldn't come up with anything. Like some weeks I'm just like, I don't have any particular things that I need to work on in this specific week. So I can share those with you. I have my Cultivate What Matters 100 intentional actions cards. And I'm also just here for some conversation with you all this morning. How has your week been? How are we feeling now that we are beyond a week past the time change? Last week, the time change annihilated me. I don't know what it was, but my energy was just the worst it has been in I don't know how long. It was, oh my gosh, it was ridiculous. And but now, like, Saturday or Sunday, all this, like, it was Sunday for sure. Sunday was the first day of spring, and I was feeling the first day of spring. It was like 60 something degrees, and we got up, we got cute, we went to church, which is not something that we have been doing. We went not last week, but the week before, because we were traveling last week. So that was my husband's first time back to church since the pandemic started. I had been going before Christmas to sing on the worship team, but if I wasn't on the worship team, I did not go. We did virtually. And so finally numbers are low enough now where my husband's like, all right, let's go back to church. And so we went back to church. And then after church, we went on a date. We went to this cute little downtown area and went to this Irish pub that has the greatest food. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful. So it just, like, my iodine, I saw the iodine comment. My energy has been feeling so good from just Sunday onward. Let's see. Paulette, I do see your comment about the devotions. We can do that. How is the iodine going? I took a 2-day break Saturday and Monday. Kept up with still having eye twitches, but hopefully it'll end soon. So I bumped up to 6, I think. I bumped up to 6 drops Saturday, I think. And I've been doing 6 drops, and I actually cut the amount of relight in half. And so for the last couple of days, I've been doing less relight because I have not been having any detox symptoms. And so I'm like, well, if I'm not having any detox symptoms, let me see how I can do with half the amount of extra sodium, because with PMS, with all the sleep, with everything, like the scale did wonky things, but I don't even care about the scale. I've just been feeling a little bit more bloated in my lower abdomen because my periods do like any second now. No joke. TMI, sorry, but like I'm in that point where like, all right, come on, let's just go, because the longer it waits, the more blech I feel, because we're like at that threshold. So I'm like, let's just get this over with. But because that's like piling on top, I was like, what happens if I reduce some of the sodium? And so I've been putting in like not like an exact half, but like I'll fill up the scooper and then I'll like pour half of it out and be like, that looks good. And I literally just did this before I came upstairs. I put it in the hot water and I let it sit for a little while. So I've been doing half the amount of Relight as half a serving, and I have no detox symptoms yet. So part of me is sitting here going, I'm like, part of me wants to like push the boundary, but why would I push the boundary? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about it. Is the iodine the reason that I've had a little bit more sustained energy? Maybe, which is really, really cool. If it is, it really is cool. So now I'm sitting here going like, I've been on 6 drops for 2 days. Do I go up to 8 drops? What happens when I get to 10 drops? Like that kind of thing. So I can't decide if I should do like 8 drops today and see what happens, or stick, because I reduced the sodium, maybe stick with 6 drops for a couple more days, just to make sure that I don't have any detox symptoms. I don't know. It feels really good. It's been feeling really good. We women certainly have to work on our bodies and health just to feel somewhat normal. I know. And that is my primary focus. This is a video that I need to film today. Quarterly goals. My quarterly goal for my health and wellness, like my annual goal, like my big goal is to focus on my gut, right? And I believe I talked about this. But for quarter 2, because like the fat loss phase is just happening. My coach is telling me what macros to do. Sometime during Q2, I will end up on a diet break. Like all those things, like the cut is just kind of happening, right? And so what can I do to kind of take things to the next level in Q2? And so my focus is literally on my health, not on the weight loss itself, but on the health. And that's including the iodine supplementation. And I'm rereading Woman Code and In the Flow to like really dive into cycle syncing. And I'm learning and I'm educating and trying to add nutrition and health things beyond the scale, right? Beyond the scale. I'm always a boundary pusher, debating jumping to 36 drops. Whoa. And so you're at 24 drops, and you started, gosh, now it was probably 20 days ago. I can't remember the last time we talked. Last time we talked, you started 16 days ago. And like literally it's your fault that I'm like, do I do more? Because I was like, well, Lindsay's at freaking the dose that like 24 drops. That's beyond the 50 milligram dose. That's beyond it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I like that. Because I just don't want to, especially since I lowered the sodium. I'm like, as much as I want to push the boundaries, I feel like, could it be placebo effect? Yes. Could it be the fact that I've just gotten over the time change and all the muck that happened last week? Yes. But like, I feel like the iodine is helping. I've had more sustained energy. Nothing like crazy, but like I haven't been exhausted, which in and of itself is a feat, a wonderful, wonderful feat. So that's the plan. That is what I'm going to do. So we have somebody interested in our devotion. So look, I even have a little banner. I have a banner for that. Look at that. So again, this is the 40 Days with Jesus study from the Daily Grace Co. And today's study, I did in fact do it already today, but I wanted to share. It's, first of all, it's beautiful. Look at this picture. Does this not just scream spring to you? It's absolutely gorgeous. So it is the parable of the sower. Who knows what the parable of the sower is? And so we are in Matthew 13, 1 through 23. So y'all are going to be hearing me read for a little while. You're going to be hearing me read for a little while. Matthew 13, 1 through 23. Are we ready? Here we go. On that day, Jesus went out of the house and was sitting by the sea. Such large crowds gathered around him that he got into a boat, sat down, and the whole crowd stood on the shore. Then he told them many things in parables, saying, "Consider the sower who went out to sow. As he sowed, some seed fell along the path, and the birds came and devoured them. Other seeds fell on rocky ground where it didn't have much soil, and it grew up quickly since the soil wasn't deep. But when the sun came up, it was scorched, and since it had no root, it withered away. Other seed fell among the thorns, and the thorns came up and choked it. Still, other seed fell on good ground and produced fruit, some 100, some 60, some 30 times what was sown. Let anyone who has ears listen." Then the disciples came up and asked him, "Why are you speaking to them in parables?" He answered, "Because the secrets of the kingdom of heaven have been given for you to know, but it has not been given to them. For whoever has more will be given to him, and he who will have more than enough. But whoever does not have, even what he has will be taken away from him. That is why I speak to them in parables, because looking they do not see, and hearing they do not listen or understand. Isaiah's prophecy is fulfilled in them, which says, 'You will listen and listen, but never understand. You will look and look, but never perceive. For this people's heart has grown callous. Their ears are hard of hearing, and they have shut their eyes. Otherwise, they might see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their hearts, and turned back, and I would heal them.' Blessed are your eyes, for they do see, and your ears, because they do hear. For truly I tell you, many prophets and righteous people longed to see the things you see, but didn't see them, and to hear the things you hear, but didn't hear them. So listen to the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word about the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what was sown in his heart. This is the one sown along the path. And the one sown on the rocky ground, this is the one who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy. But he has no root and it is short lived. When distress or persecution comes because of the word, immediately he falls away. Now, the one sown among the thorns, this is the one who hears the word, but the worries of this age and the deceitfulness of wealth choke the word and it becomes unfruitful. But the one sown on the good ground, this is the one who hears and understands the word, who does produce fruit and yields, some 100, some 60, some 30 times what was sown. That is the word. And then the devotion says, the parable of the sower is one of the most famous parables Jesus gave in his ministry. It is the first in an extensive series of parables that Jesus gives while sitting on a boat in the Sea of Galilee with a large crowd standing on the shore. Parables are short stories that contain spiritual truths for the listener. When Jesus gives the parable of the sower, his disciples do not understand why he chooses to teach through story. He's the Son of God and the Messiah. Why does he not speak directly? Would that not allow more people to understand and follow him? One of the most common phrases Jesus will say after he gives a parable is, "Let anyone who has ears listen." Jesus teaches in parables to reveal to a person if they can hear and understand the truth of the gospel. Those who have ears that are spiritually sensitive to the kingdom of heaven will ponder the parables of Christ and see the wisdom of God. Those with hardened hearts against Christ will be confused and stumble over parables. In essence, parables reveal the judgment of the Lord against those who reject his word. Jesus tells his disciples that the fact that there are people who do not understand his parables fulfills Isaiah's prophecy of the people of Israel. They have become cold-hearted towards the Lord and cannot see or hear the truth of the gospel. But he says that the people who have eyes and ears that are opened to the truth are blessed. What they see and hear as Jesus teaches is the fulfillment of what the prophets proclaimed. The prophets of Old Testament longed to see the redemptive work of Jesus come to fruition, and the people who stood before Jesus as he taught on the Sea of Galilee were seeing just that. Followers of Christ today have access to the completed canon of Scripture, which contains the breathtaking story of redemption in its entirety. The prophets and the people on the shores of Galilee would have longed to hold the Bibles that sit near us today. After Jesus explains the purpose of parables to his disciples, he addresses the meaning behind the parable of the sower. In the parable of the sower, there is a farmer who sows seeds, and the seeds fall on different kinds of soil. The soil the seeds fall on determines how it will grow, or if it will grow at all. Jesus is the sower who sows the seed of the gospel by giving the word of God to the people. How people receive his word can be compared to how the soil receives the seed. The good news of the kingdom of God is like a seed, and while the seed does not seem to change the ground it is planted in at first, it produces life and nutrients in the unseen depths of the earth. As the truth of Jesus' kingdom takes root in our hearts, it produces more change than any kingdom of the world could ever dream. Three of the soils that the sower's seeds fall on come as warnings to those who hear and receive the gospel. The first scenario Jesus uses as a warning is the seed that falls on the path and not on the soil. This represents those who hear the good news of Christ but never allow it to enter their hearts. When people are not affected by the truth of the Word of God, Satan easily snatches it away and deceives them into thinking it is unneeded, that the things they know about the gospel are purely intellectual. The good news of the kingdom of God has never changed their life. The second scenario depicts the seed that falls on the rocky ground. While the seed appears to enter the ground, it never takes root and eventually dies. Jesus used this seed to describe those who have emotional responses to the gospel and appear to accept it with joy. We think that these people are believers, but they fall away from faith when hardship and persecution come. It was never about faith to begin with. It was only joy in the blessings that they could potentially receive from Christ. When the false expectations of carefree and painless lives in Christ are shattered, they turn from him and search for it elsewhere. The third scenario depicts a seed that enters the ground but is choked by thorns. People who represent this seed hear the gospel and believe it, but they have divided hearts. While they recognize the truth, they are unfruitful because they are consumed with things of the world. They know the truth, but they do not live in the freedom the Lord offers them. But the last soil is the kind that is good ground in which the seed can thrive. This soil represents those who eagerly receive the gospel, and because the Lord has softened their hearts to know the truth, they seek the Lord and he conforms them to his image. They produce abundant fruit because of their union with Christ. If we believe in Jesus, we will fall into one of the last two categories of soil. The seed of the gospel has not just fallen on the path, it has taken root in our hearts. And we did not accept Jesus because of strong emotion or a desire for blessing, but because we desired him and saw him as true joy and satisfaction. However, we must be careful not to let the thorns of the world choke out the truth of the gospel. All of us, in one way or another, deal with the thorn of the world, but if we remain in Christ, he will help us uproot them and grow in him. Do we have ears to listen to his truth? We will hear Jesus as he beckons us to let him weed out the thorns in our world so our lives can be fruitful in him. We, like the soil, cannot change on our own. Rather, we must be tended by the sower of the gospel, our faithful Savior above. Told you were going to be listening to me read for a while. It was a long one today. But it's a good lesson, y'all. It's a good lesson. So that's what I've been reflecting on this morning. And it's been good. Now I need to take a sip of coffee because I'm not drinking enough coffee. Unfortunately, it is on this day that I need to have all of the energy. It is rainy and it's actually raining now. There's like 100% chance of rain for 8 hours today. So it's going to be gross and rainy all stinking day. But it is what it is. That's fine. I thought I would talk a little bit about my weekly actions for the week. And evidently, I don't know how to date these things because this is the third one in a row that I have dated wrong because I predated them. I don't know how that happened. My personal goals for the week and my personal action items. And the reason I'm saying these are called action items, I keep calling them goals because in my mind, those are interchangeable. But really, it's kind of like a more organized to-do list, right? It's like more organized to-do lists. I just love that devotion and need to get some more coffee. Yes, definitely more coffee. And yeah, the devotion was wonderful. I'm really, really enjoying this devotional so far. So my personal action items for the week, I only have 2, and it is take my jewelry to Jared, which I actually did yesterday. Ooh, back spasm. Oh, that was painful. Yikes. So all of my jewelry, except for, this is not my wedding ring, this is my Aura ring, except for my wedding rings, are from Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry, because they have a really nice lifetime warranty thing. But the caveat is you have to get your jewelry inspected in person every 6 months, with the exception being like they closed down for like the height of the pandemic in 2020. And they're like, when we open back up, come and we'll resume your stuff. So every 6 months, I got to bring all my jewelry over there and get it checked. And yesterday, because it was like 65 and mostly sunny, it was errand day. I went to Trader Joe's for the first time since, I don't know, October maybe, which was glorious. And I went over to Jared and had the nicest guy helping me there. When I told him my area code for the phone number lookup, he's like, Chicago. I haven't thought about Chicago in a long time. I grew up there. So we had a great conversation. And then I went to Target. It was a beautiful, beautiful day. So that's already done. Check. And then I have Read Woman Code. I have started it. I don't know if I'm going to finish it this week, but I want to make progress on it because, as mentioned earlier with the whole health goals thing, I just want to refresh the information on cycle syncing. My health and wellness, 90% plan adherence. I will admit, last week I was not the most adherent to plan. I would probably say I was about 65% adherent to my plan. I was reaching for more carbohydrates. I was just, last week was a struggle. And I admitted that to my coach. And like, because we fill out all these like detailed informations and like boxes and whatever. So she knows exactly what's going on, even if I don't communicate with her throughout the week. And without like all the things, it was just a hard week. So this week, my goal is 90% adherence, which is a lot higher than last week. But day one is done and I nailed it so far. So there's that. I also wrote down steps, 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 because even though and flow is coming, which means that I won't be working out, I want to make sure that I am remaining as active as possible. Yesterday, I did all of the errand running, and then I actually took the time to go on a 20-minute walk around my neighborhood because it was just too nice outside to not. And tomorrow there's a 50% chance of snow. So I was like, today's the day. I have to do it, even though I've been running around all day, and it felt really good. And then I'm bumping my water goal from 90 ounces to 100 ounces of water simply because of the extra sodium intake I'm taking in. And so just a little bit extra every day to kind of help flush it out. My fun and my recreation goals are to give myself a manicure because these nails, the longer they remain unpainted and undipped, the more likely they are to chip. So they're getting in rare form here. So I'm gonna give myself a nice little manicure. And then this is under fun and recreation, but I'm listening to the audiobook of the Obesity Code. And I listened to that while I was out and about yesterday. And let me tell you, there is a lot of fascinating information in that book. And there's a lot of information that makes me go, like, that we now know. And I don't remember when this book was written, but like now we know. Like I'm sitting there nodding. I'm like, yes, we knew that. Yes, we knew that. Yes, we knew that. And I'm like, it was just really, really interesting. And then, but one thing, because I believe this is the book that talks about the keto diet and intermittent fasting. I believe that's Jason Fung's two big things. And we haven't actually gotten to that point in the book yet. I'm getting all the science-based information, which is great, but he hasn't actually given us this is what you do instead. So I can't like be like, this is what I'm keeping from this book. This is what I'm letting go of. But one interesting thing he said, because he bragged about the fact that like we only did all of our experiments, all of our experiments, yeah, on humans, blah 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 blah. And I remember the first time I heard him say that, I'm like, yeah, but postmenopausal women, humans. And sure enough, he talked about how he did this one experiment or whatever, and he specified it was done on postmenopausal women. Why is this important? Because we are finding, and this is something I will read in Woman Code. So this is going to be a Woman Code and Obesity Code are completely going to clash with their beliefs at some point. I know this to be true. There are some things they will agree on. There are some things that they're going to clash with. But intermittent fasting is being very quickly learned to be a little bit more, not dangerous, but hormonally damaging to women who still get their cycles. But all of the intermittent, from what I understand, all of the intermittent fasting studies that have allowed people to tote that intermittent fasting is the end all be all for weight loss were done on men or postmenopausal women, which is interesting. So I'm very interested to see how this book continues to unfold. If there are studies where he specifies they're done on menstruating women, I don't know, but it's going to be really, really interesting. So yes, so I'm doing that, and so I want to continue to do that. Work and learning content plan for April. So, friends, if you're here for the replay, let me know in the comments, and if you're here in the live chat, let me know, how do we feel about daily vlogging in April? Because I asked that because I'm like, I am so interested in getting the vlogs back up and running on a regular basis. I did a lot of vlogging everyday months in 2016, 2017, 2018. And I was like, do I bring that back? Because I know I've been doing like Vlogmas and it's not been like, it's been like 12 videos or something. And so I don't know what my exact approach would be, but are we interested in starting daily vlogs as early as April? I don't like this mug because the way I have to hold it, you can't see that it says I drink coffee like a Gilmore Girl because I have to hold it with my right hand. Sometimes I have a hard time meeting my water goals. I can't ever do the keto diet. Me either. Me either. And so what's interesting, and I'll get more into this once I finish the book and like can create my own full picture opinion, right? But the keto the way of eating, a lot of the information in this book is all about the blood sugar balance. And if you guys know Kelly LeVeque, who's two books I have on there, who I really, really like, her nutritional theory is also about blood sugar balance. And while she's not keto per se, she's your carbs should really have fiber in them. And like, so I'm curious to see how Kelly LeVeque and Jason Fung line up and how they don't line up. But I can't, and I know that Lindsay here does something that resembles the keto diet, and it works great for her. I can't do it because what I'm actually learning about my body is I really truly use carbs for energy. Like I can feel the difference, and even when you make the less healthy choices, but like on days that I am dragging, and I decide to make the less healthy choice of like a very high sugar piece of candy, Cadbury cream egg, something like that, my energy comes back almost instantaneously. Like 10 minutes after I consume the thing, I'm like, poof, there it is. And while is that the best choice for me nutritionally? No. What it tells me is that my body needs carbohydrates to function. So for me, what information can I use from the obesity code and from Body Love to twist and combine and remove what I don't need to make the best nutritional choices for my body? And that's the kind of stuff that I'm really interested in pursuing after I finish the obesity code. So while I'm cleaning and stuff today, I'm going to be having that book running, which will be great. Um, I love the daily vlogs, but many that means a lot more work for me. Yes, it does. So that's what I have to figure out, the right approach with that. And maybe the approach is I don't start posting them until a couple days into April so I can get a head start and or think, or I combine like 1 day and 2 days and intersperse regular content. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm really interested in getting it started because some days will be just like typical day in the life vlogs. Like today's going to be a day in the life vlog, but like on days that like there's nothing else to say, I can do what I'm eating to lose weight, things like that. So I can keep it full of variety, but I don't know. I don't know. Yes, for Veda, Veda, Veda. I'm learning more and more about my body since watching your videos. I'm so glad. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make sure that we, especially as women, and I know there's some men that watch me too, but especially as women, um, we are as educated about our bodies as possible. And what's really important is understanding that no two bodies are alike. And so while some nutritional concepts kind of span across the board, there is some level of personal experimentation that needs to happen within all of our personal journeys, right? So what works for me, what works for Lindsay might not work, or what works for Lindsay might not work for me, and vice versa, right? Words. I can do words. Then secondary, with our first two kids on carbs, after we were keto for a year, I got a surprise third baby when we were avoiding pregnancy. That is so interesting. That is so stinking interesting. One of the things that I'm finding most fascinating, I'm to the point in the book, I know Lindsay's read this book, where he's talking about insulin and how insulin medications that increase insulin also increase weight. And I'm sitting here because I have multiple family members that are diabetic and take insulin, and I keep watching them get bigger and bigger, and I'm like, holy crap, if this is true, if this is true, then why, like, where's the balance? And this is far beyond my pay grade. I am by no means a medical professional, but I'm pretty medically minded. I grew up with a nurse as a mother, so I'm pretty medically educated for not having any medical education to speak of. But in my head, I'm like, if giving people insulin is something that actually puts weight on their body, what do we do with the, like, why don't we have a better treatment for diabetes? Where's the balance? Why is the answer pumping more insulin in instead of X, Y, and Z? You know? And I feel like it might be the job of the diabetes patient to advocate for themselves and try to use nutrition and something like Kelly LeVeque's style of eating, or even a slightly more keto type way of life would be better because it would require less insulin to be pumped into their systems. Like, this is the kind of stuff that swirls through my head as I'm listening to this person talk about it, because um my sister's diabetic, my mom and dad are diabetic, my grandfather's diabetic. And it's so interesting to me. I was like, "Oh my gosh." That's just knowing the problems that many members of my family have. It's so interesting. Now, the truth is, I don't know if my grandfather takes insulin or not, because my grandfather is not overweight. My grandfather's actually really active and really healthy. But there are other people in my family who are not. And it's so interesting to me. And so bottom line is, I'm glad I decided to pick up the book, even if I know I'm not going to agree with everything in it, because some of the insight it does have is super fascinating. Super fascinating. Um, so there's that. There's that. What else? What else? So my spiritual and personal growth work, this is going to sound so interesting. So I have selfie work on here. One of the things I did over the weekend was I dove into Christy Reisel's Rise to Style Society, and I talk about it all the time because I joined with, I can't remember when I joined, but like she already had like 8 or 9 months of content under her belt in the Rise to Style Society. So while I'm trying to keep current, I'm also going back and listening to other stuff. And so I went back to like February of last year, and the topic was body love and body confidence. And she actually brought on this person called Liberty Edwards, who's literally a selfie coach. Like, she's a photographer that has turned selfie coach and talking and teaching people how to take selfies that make them feel good about themselves. And so I actually took a deep dive into Liberty's content over the weekend. And if you saw my post on Instagram, that selfie I posted yesterday was the result of me screwing around with stuff on doing on this course. Why am I doing it? Does it appear to be like a vain thing? No, the way she talks about selfies and everything, and like the confidence and oh my gosh, like it just makes so much sense. And what I really love is Liberty is also a Christian woman. So she actually in her course talked a bit about like the vanity side of things, and is that sinful, and why, how dare you, and whatever. And like she addresses all of that, which I think is really great. I really like her. I really, really do. So shout out to Christy for introducing me to Liberty, who I've been doing selfie work. And so I want to do some more of that this week, mess around with different poses and lighting. And I got myself a special attachment so I can actually do like mirror image, vertical shots using my ring light and things like that. So I want to play with that. I want to play with that. And then I want to get put together every day. And I did do that yesterday. I haven't yet because I'm debating whether or not I'm going to actually go work out, because technically my period hasn't started yet. But I did do it yesterday. A little bit of powder, a little bit of eyebrows, a little bit of mascara and lip gloss, and that was enough. And I put jeans on. Like, that was enough. Work and learning, I just need a content plan. That's what I want to do, is I want to kind of lay out a plan for the next month or two. So again, if you are here live, or if you are here watching the replay, let me know in the comments, what kind of things would you like to see from me in April and in May? I'm really trying to plan ahead, because there are some things that might be happening that I don't know like how much time I'm going to have. So I really want to get as ahead of the game as possible, because the more ahead I can get, A, the easier daily vlogging is going to be, because all of my other content will be done, and B, it leaves room for random vacation, random blip in the schedule, random sickness, random whatever. I'm not good at working ahead, and I really want to get better at it. So let me know what you guys would like to see from me. And then my financial goals, I never did my finances last week, so I need to do them this week. I have no set family and relationship goals this week, other than, find a way to spend some quality time with my husband. And maybe we should plan like a date for the weekend. That's what we need to do. But my physical environment stuff, I want to purge my office. You want to see? Hang on. Hang on. You guys get to be the first to know, y'all. So you know how I'm doing the use it up challenge, and I'm trying to use as much as I can to get rid of it so I can bring in only stuff that like is the best of the best, the things that I really want to have. I've also hit that moment of like, if I'm not using it and if I don't love it and if it's so beyond expiration that I really shouldn't have it anymore, I'm tossing it. That has started to happen for me. I'm like, I am freaking done. So I actually have a little pile of stuff here that is not do I have a link to the style course? I can get you one. It's called Rise Through Style, and her website, Christy's website, is Fashion Translated, and it is a membership thing. I will be honest. I paid the good money. I think it was just under $1,000 for the annual membership to this. But with the annual membership, you ended up getting not just like the month-to-month course stuff that you would get if you paid the monthly, but you get access to her like body styling, like the whole access to all of her stuff. And it's really valuable. Like I do not regret spending that money at all. At all. And I'm actually sitting here, I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, I'm probably going to renew because I really enjoy the community she has. And there's a Facebook group where people post their outfits and it's people of all ages. And you can ask, like, I asked a question about like, I need better basic t-shirts than the $4 ones that I have, what suggestions do you have? And the whole community comes together. It's awesome. I really, really love what she has created. I really do. So it is expensive, but it is worth it, especially if style and body confidence is something you are interested in working on. So I will text you that link. So what am I getting rid of? This, and I'm also bringing some stuff in. I actually have a Kat Von D order that's supposed to come today with a more I technically hit pan on this and this, so that counts, right? But this thing is like 5 years old. And so I'm getting rid of that. This is like 15 months old and gross. This is the color that I'm not even using because it's like this orangey peach. And this I might actually like give to my sisters or my niece or something. And the same with this. Like this is a pigment that I have a couple other ones in like colors that are actually cool toned, and this is very warm toned. This is so old. Can you see the packaging? It is so old. So old that like it's time to just get rid of it. This is like old and almost empty. I'm getting rid of this is practically empty, and these are going on sale. This is my favorite brow product of all time. It is the Benefit. Look at the label. It's so worn off. It is the Benefit Gimme Brow, but the set that I got that had all of this stuff in it, they didn't come in my tone. So they're very, very, they're dark, but they're warm toned, and I have cool toned eyebrows. And I purchased an eyebrow pencil just last week because it was on the Ulta 21 days sale, and it's my favorite eye pencil of all time, but they're like $24 or $22 a piece. So I don't often buy them, but when they're half off, I buy them. And it's in like this ash brown, like a very cool toned, almost gray brown. And my eyebrows look fabulous whenever I use it. And I was like, shoot, I really just need to get the cool toned stuff. So I'm getting rid of the old warm toned stuff. This thing is like dried out and empty. This, I want to love this. The next thing, the eyebrow mascara, it's like the dupe version of this. However, the one I got is really, really warm. And then this bronzer, which according to the I put a pretty solid dent in it for bronzer, but according to the label, it's only good for 6 months, and I've had it for 14 or 15 months. So bottom line is I'm going through and like my purge the office thing, I'm going through and just getting rid of crap. I'm using up what I can use up, but if it's something that I'm like, I'm really not going to enjoy using this, I'm getting rid of it. I'm in full on spring cleaning, get rid of crap mode, and I'm not mad about it. And then also I need to deep clean the kitchen. That is my spring cleaning thing this week, and clean out my underwear drawer because I don't remember if I said that last week or not, but like it's fascinating to me how quickly the underwear drawer that goes from like nice and organized goes poof, right? Am I crazy? No, I don't think so. So that's that. And then let me quickly does anybody have anything else that they would like to talk about before I let y'all go? Because I've already kept you longer than half an hour. Let's do our cultivate what matters. Wait, I made a banner for this too. Cultivate what matters action cards. I'm just trying to play around with all of this software that I got. It is a body goal for wellness today. Clean out your refrigerator. Oh, isn't that convenient? I have that on my list of things to do today anyway. Take everything out, toss expired items, wipe down surfaces. So there's your wellness action item. And it is so much easier, really, truly, like to stay on track and stuff when sorry, I'm reaching for the other one, when your refrigerator is clean, right? And then our intentional action ideas, I think this is faith is what it's called. Yeah. Fix your mind on things above. Spend some time thinking about eternity and how amazing heaven will be. So simple, but so profound, right? All right, friends. Well, I think I've kept you long enough. Thank you for having coffee with me. I need to actually finish my coffee. And for those of you keeping track, I will see you all tomorrow night for Desserts with the Diva at 8 p.m., 7 p.m. Central Time, where we will talk about your questions and any topics that you want to bring up. So come with ideas in mind. What do you want me to talk about tomorrow night? I would love to sit and chat with you for an hour. It'll be a lot of fun. So thank you for hanging out. Thank you for having coffee with me. And I will talk to you all tomorrow. Take care.